Have you ever worked really hard on something only to realize later they were just a few feet off from getting it right? A few weeks ago, I was in New Zealand, and my family and I woke up at 5 a.m., grabbed a shovel, and headed to the beach where people literally dig their own hot tubs in the sand. The first day, we got it wrong, way wrong. Boiling water, bad placement, total trial and error. But the second morning, everything clicked. And standing there with a majestical sunrise, steam rising off the sand, it hit me. This is exactly how most people approach their finances. Today, we're going to unpack that story and what it teaches us about working with the right financial professional. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss this.
Welcome in. Glad to have you on Legacy Beyond Wealth. I am Ben George with Rob Shelton of Axio Wealth Management. Rob, you had a great teaser for this video. Obviously, a big trip with the family to New Zealand. I know there's probably plenty to talk about, but I'm really excited about this analogy because you kind of paint the picture of why it makes a lot of sense for people. So for those that don't know, Rob just got back, as he mentioned, from New Zealand, visited a place called Hot Water Beach. And I'd never heard of it. So you gave me a little background on it. It's one of the only beaches in the world where hot springs flow underground right beneath the sand and empty into the ocean. So take us back there, Rob, kind of paint the picture for us and tell us about this experience.
Yeah, it's one that I've always wanted to go to before, and it was really unique. And as you know me, I like to try to study everything ahead of time to have it all planned out. I guess that's why it makes me pretty good in my profession I'm in financial planning. But wanted to do as much research, so watch as many YouTube articles as we possibly can. And what happens is this hot water comes out of the mountain behind this beach, and it comes kind of down in just different veins is the best way to describe that, or just in sections. And so the key is finding the right place to be able to dig. And you can see lots of people, you can imagine this being a popular beach, out there with shovels digging. And sometimes you hit hot water and sometimes you didn't. And as I stood there, it just came back that there's a few things that this really relates to financial planning and wealth management quite a bit. One of those being that experience matters. So when I went there the first day, it was so crowded, everyone digging everywhere. And you think, how hard can this be? You just got to dig a hole and you get hot water, right?
Yeah.
But our first day, we went there and we did hit hot water because of the research I had done, but we hit the hot water on a pocket that was closer to the ocean, which meant the water was so hot. It literally was like burning you. It's unreal to think that kind of water could be coming out of the mountain. And so we tried to do it. We tried to bring a bucket and put cold water in, but the hot water was so hot, it just didn't make it that enjoyable. And so my wife and I went home, and the kids, and we were a little frustrated, and it was kind of funny at the same time. We decided to go back the next morning. So we woke up, went down at low tide, and this time we built a bit further up on the beach. And boy, we got like the perfect hole dug. It was just the right temperature. We were able to control it a little bit better by how we were digging the hole, just from the experience we had. So as I sat there thinking about this, I was like, man, this is really about wealth management and how having the right tools and the right experience can really make the difference for you.
Yeah, I think this is a great one too, Rob, because I think it's the way, as you mentioned, most people kind of approach things, right? Seems easy. I see other people do it. I'm going to try, and most of the time make mistakes and have to learn from that. And right, that's the role of an advisor, what you do every day. It's not about trying to pay someone to dig it faster, right? It's about paying them to be digging in the right place to begin with.
Yeah, and I can't tell you how many people came down, and literally that second day we built that perfect hole. People were admiring. In fact, one lady's like, wow, it looks like you've done this a lot before. And, they started digging just with probably 12 inches over from us. But because it was outside of that main vein, there was zero hot water, and it was just cold water. And they would just kind of try to dig these holes all over the place, trying to find the hot water. And so that's really where experience matters. I think as you go back and you take a look at it, so many people may think, hey, I can invest. It can't be that tough, especially the last few years that we've had where the market has been almost up every year in the last 3 years, it seems like. And so you got to make sure that you don't fall into that trap of, thinking that you can do it just on your own, where having someone experienced that's done it before can really help benefit you quite a bit.
Yeah, that's a good one and a great analogy to kind of start things off. I know, you kind of talked about, and one thing that kind of stood out to me was, people digging holes next to each other and still finding different results, right? Some finding cold water. And that kind of takes you to that second kind of idea and that lesson that you learned from this, right?
Yeah, and that second lesson is following the crowd. It doesn't mean that you're going to always find the results that you want, and you think about it. Sometimes you might hear colleagues talk about investing that they have or the next big idea that's out there. And you think, okay, because they had those results, I can do the same. And we could say whether that be all sorts of different trends that have been out there in the past. Maybe we pick up on Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies as an investment. A lot of people go, hey, I hear so-and-so's making so much money there. I've got to be there. I think the key there is just because someone's having success in a certain area or investment strategy doesn't exactly mean you're going to have the exact same results. And you've got to be careful. And it really pays to have someone that has experience to help guide you through what would be right for you and helping create that right strategy to help get the results that you want.
Are you ready to unlock the freedom to live your best life? Schedule your no-cost 60-minute discovery meeting with our team today. During this session, we'll take the time to understand your family's story and financial dreams. Together, we'll craft a personalized roadmap designed to help you achieve your goals. Let's explore how we can unlock the freedom for you and your family to thrive. Just click the link in the description of today's show to get started.
Yeah, we're talking about some of the lessons that Rob learned financially from a incredible trip to New Zealand with the family. And this third one, I think, is very interesting. These small adjustments can create massive outcomes. And I think that's so important with financial planning. Things might seem very small or trivial on the surface, but they can add up to having such a huge impact on your life.
Yeah. And when you think about it, it wasn't yards, or as they say there in New Zealand, meters as they measure it, away from being able to have success in digging this hot water pit. It was literally feet and inches that made the difference between having a freezing water pot or a hot water tub. And so I think as you look at that, these little differences that are out there, maybe it's tax strategy or asset allocation or risk alignment, these small strategy adjustments can really have a big impact in the long term. And it's not that you didn't have success, that you just got to go buy a brand new shovel or scrap it all together. But those small adjustments make a big difference in the long run. And that's why we feel like meeting with clients on a regular, consistent basis helps you to be able to have those small, different pivots, if you will, if they need to happen based on what's going on in your financial situation. And all of this planning and everything is about helping you live that best life you possibly can, right? Here we're using the analogy of building the best hot water tub on the beach that you possibly can. But in life, it's about building that best life that you can, and having that guidance and direction, boy, makes a big, big difference.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. And, just kind of playing off this analogy, Rob, I mean, that's your role. You've seen the holes being dug in the wrong places. Probably sometimes you've helped dig in the wrong places, but corrected those. These are all things that you've learned over time with trial and error. And someone can come now, work with you guys at Axio Wealth Management and benefit from that knowledge. I mean, it applies to financial planning the same way. You can benefit from everything they've learned along the way, from all types of different scenarios and life goals and missions and whatever legacy goals that people have. And that's what you do every day, isn't it?
It is. And there were 3 different people that we talked with that morning that I just wanted to mention here real quick. And if we got just a few more minutes, one was this one group came over and they saw that we built this beautiful big hole and we were enjoying it and it had the right temperature of water. And so they just wouldn't really talk to us. They didn't even bring a shovel down to the beach. They're trying to dig with their hands. And they asked if they could use our shovels, and we were happy to let them use the shovels. And I tried giving direction, but you could tell they didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to learn. They wanted to just do it on their own, I guess. And they dug so many holes on that beach and never saw success. The second person that approached us was a lady who said, hey, it looks like you've done this before. And she would take the directions and then go and try and do it on her own. But her execution was off and it wasn't all that great. and didn't get the results that she wanted. And then the smartest guy on the beach, I felt like, was this guy that came down. He was late in the day. The tide was already starting to come in. It was too late to start digging a hole, but he saw we had the perfect hole and it was big enough to fit him and his son. And he asked if he could join us. I said, you bet. There's plenty of room inside of here. And I thought, man, all these other people are struggling, and here he is being able to benefit from other people's work and was smart enough not to have to do that. So it kind of brought home to me a little bit about how people approach investments. Many people are successful doing it on their own, but so many people sometimes miss the execution that's out there. And if you're one that can focus on what you do really well and hire other professionals in other areas of your life, boy, that's where I have found success in building a best life, is where I know I'm not the greatest plumber or electrician or whatever it may be out there. And I didn't know my strengths and my weaknesses and make sure I get the right professionals in those right places.
Yeah, don't be afraid to ask for help. And if you want to learn more about Axio Wealth Management and their comprehensive wealth management approach that's tailored for successful families, get in touch at axiowm.com. You can schedule that discovery call, which is free to do. It's an opportunity to begin learning more about Axio Wealth and also letting Rob learn a little bit more about you and your goals and your family and what you're trying to accomplish. But sounds like an awesome trip. I know this is just kind of scratching the surface of what you guys probably all experienced in New Zealand, Rob, but I'm glad you kind of brought this back and shared it with us.
No, thanks, Ben. Appreciate it.